Yikes.
I mean, I feel like
Start recording.
it's recording.
Good. Lou's coming in now.
I mean,
All right,
maybe.
let's start a new one once we get Lou in. We have to.
I mean,
He's
I
coming in.
guess
Trust me, I see him.
I wish I had a video editor, so like we could just add this. But see, why didn't this happen last time? What happened?
Because I called him personally, I think.
Man, you
Wait,
could
you
not do that again.
Mike,
Oh, I hear Lou.
I can stitch those two together.
Are you
I
sure?
know, but that's a process.
Yeah. And plus, then it looks like we had something happen. You just got to go with it, man.
We just have to tell them.
You got to restart. You got to restart right now.
All right,
It's
we're
just gotta
starting
be
the-
restarted. But wait until Lou gets in here so that
I just heard Lou. I heard him.
Uh-huh.
There
Hey.
he is.
Hey!
Now we're going hard in here.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's restart this shit, Mike. Come on.
Lou, do you have any headphones or no?
Yeah, I do. That'd actually probably be better, right?
Yeah, throw those on because I can hear myself.
Oh, we're going full gamer over here, man.
Those Turtle Beaches?
Hell yeah, brother. That's the only way to go.
I like the 4 screen. It looks kind of dope.
What are you talking about, 4 screen?
The 4, like 4 of us.
Oh yeah. Honestly, guys, so long time listener, big fan. Great to be on the show. Thanks.
Welcome, Lou. Welcome.
Lou, welcome to the 23rd hour, episode 3.
I mean, I'm just grateful you didn't join us from Dunkin' Donuts. So
That's where
plus.
Mike is right now. Mike operates from the
Nice.
Dunkin' parking lot.
Well, I'm surprised to get good Wi-Fi over there, to be honest.
It's actually really good Wi-Fi.
Vince said they're closed.
They are closed.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to bring that up this week to all you guys, is that I went for some coffee today, and Dunkin' is officially closed, as well as Starbucks.
Like, just
Those are pretty
like
big
not
ones.
even drive-throughs.
No, drive-thrus were closed.
I did see something about that. I was going to some places like Wendy's, and they kept saying there was a sign that said closing at 10 p.m. indefinitely. And I don't know what day that was
Wait, for
but,
Wendy's?
Like, yeah, Wendy's and some restaurants, they were saying they're just closed, like, until further notice. And I don't know what day that was to take place, because I saw this, like, all during last week, but...
I said that on the first podcast. I said I feel like shit because I've been eating takeout every damn day because I'm scared they're gonna take it away. Dude, if I see that Wendy's sign, man, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I cannot be seeing Wendy's signs that say that.
No, damn, Wendy's was the one place I could still go, I felt like.
Yeah, Wendy's closing. I mean, fuck. If they close down all fast food.
We sound like straight up Americans, right?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't even eat fast food no more, you freaks. So
Dude, that is a fucking Cat 5 hurricane if I've ever seen one.
All right, so basically what happened is we got disconnected when we called you, Lou, so we're basically starting the whole podcast right now.
Yeah, so this
Oh,
is the
shit,
beginning.
okay. You know, it's funny, because I was going to say, I was upset that I didn't know what you guys were talking about before I jumped on, so now...
I'm
This is
thinking
literally the beginning.
we might have to pull up that map again, like.
Yeah, we basically said, what the hell just happened like 30 times before you got on. So.
Yeah,
I
pull up.
called
All right, you want me to pull up that map one more time just to give a little update?
Let's show our viewers what we're looking at in the U.S. here.
Okay. As
Yeah.
I said before, I'll start with my local state. As I said before, I live in Minnesota, in case anybody doesn't know why the fuck we're on that. But we'll get to the spicy shit. Why did I put? Okay.
All right.
No place like home.
They really make it seem like, I mean, I guess it might be true, but it seems like we literally are in the target zone.
So there's 1 million cases worldwide. Wow. Let me see.
When you really think about it, still even that, it's crazy how this brought us down so fast. Like 1 million people. It's like, it's not that much when you think about like 7 fucking billion people. Like,
No,
I think a lot of that is because it hasn't reached so many different places, and we've done a good job at chilling out now. But yeah, interesting.
I mean, they say about 700,000 people die from the flu every year, so we're nowhere near that yet.
When you say stuff like that, Mike, can you pull up a stat that says that? Because if that's true, it really is kind of crazy.
Yeah, hold on.
I think the problem is that, Mike, is that 700,000 flu cats don't go away. And so when you combine them, that's when shit starts getting wild, because it starts getting over.
Medicine.net.
I see what you're saying, Mike.
Yeah.
It's like a new flu just coming in and taking.
Well, when I was watching our governor speak, and he's like, so we got like a couple hundred ventilators. I'm like, a couple hundred? That's it? Like, come on, man. Like, this is the US of A. What the hell? I thought we just have it kind of feels like supply and everything that we have here is just limitless sometimes. And then some things like this do a sneak attack, and it's like, oh shit, we're not all that prepared. So I don't know.
It's crazy because I know, my mom the other day was even saying, she heard on the news that, soon it's literally going to have to be up to doctors to choose who lives or dies, because there's just not enough stuff to save people. And that's a horrible thing to think about, like morally, for people to have to decide.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't get to that point.
I mean, it's going to. There's no way to avoid it.
But how would that play out? Like, the doctors are just like, we're gonna take we're gonna take the women, and would it be the women and children first?
Probably something along that lines. You got to prioritize somehow.
I mean, I heard the actual coronavirus is it's like race specific. It kills mostly men.
Really?
Yeah. Do a little research on the board, Mick.
But I think that, isn't it the case that like a lot of men have like respiratory issues, heart attacks, all that kinds of shit? Like, I already just know that I'm going to die before Nicole. Like, this is a given fact.
All right. Well, you don't want to confirm the belief like that.
I mean, I'd say it's better that way.
If it's a long run, man, it's a tough battle for me. It's an uphill battle. Let's
Mike,
just say
that sounds like an affirmation.
I think wouldn't you rather die before your wife, though?
I would.
I don't know, but all I know is I don't want to go in that fucking freezer outside of Robert Wood.
Dude, that's bullshit. You guys see that thing? That was BS.
Dude, is that true? Because if that's true, that's some real fucking Ted Bundy type shit right there.
That thing was fake as hell.
What is this? I didn't even hear about this.
Somebody fill Lou in.
Nicole sent this out. That wasn't even me, man.
Nicole sent us a picture of this big truck with a freezer, and she's like, and this girl on Facebook was like, this is for the corpses of all the people dying at Robert Wood right now.
Yeah, it's crazy because that doesn't sound that far-fetched, man. The way stuff is ramping up.
That's true. I didn't even question it. I haven't even really researched it. Did anybody confirm whether or not that's true?
Dude, what do you mean? There's literally people like recording reporters, and they're like this whole hospital is filled with people, like it's crazy here. And then they go in the hospital and there's no one there. It's hype as hell. It's called fear. They're pushing fear, bro.
There's no way.
They're pushing fear. Yes. You can look these
they're in
videos up.
Beds. They're in the beds, man. They're probably in the actual rooms. That's the point.
There's no one in the hospital. Look up the videos. You have
Mike,
to.
So why would they let you near the patients, though, even if you did go in the hospital? That's
why. Who the hell went in? Who went in there, Mike?
Guys, the way they're explaining it is that it's a freak show. And then you look at the actual footage and there's no one there. Same with the testing. There's videos of the testing reporting is like it's a freak show here, and then you hear crickets. There's no one there. There's no one being tested.
I feel like that's because nobody is trying to get near the infected patient. So it's like a ghost town in the hallways, but like
so why Nah.
Or laying in the rooms.
I don't
It's
know.
5G, man. 5G, it's taking over our brains. 5G, it's over.
Also, I did not even know that was a thing till
Neither
recently.
did I.
How are 5G towers giving us diseases?
Well, Mike, do you know, actually, for all of you, do you know where the first city to test 5G was? Does anyone know?
No. Does it start with a W?
Yeah, it does. It was
Fuck.
Wuhan. It was Wuhan.
No.
And look
Of
where the
course it
corona
was.
started. Look where it started.
Oh, the conspiracies are falling out.
It's a fact, dude. That's where it started. That's where this whole. What it does is it lowers your immunity to the virus, so anyone can get it if there's 5G towers around.
I don't think that, like, even if that was the case, I don't really know if that's like, is that really, like, a lot of things start in New York or Washington or LA, and just because two different things started, that doesn't mean that they're like totally like causation of one another.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But it doesn't mean it. It doesn't mean it's not.
I mean, what the fuck is 5G? Faster internet?
I don't know about the conspiracy side to it, but what I do know is that if I was a 5G technology company, now would be a great time to be implementing some 5G networks while everybody's inside online consuming too much internet.
I mean, seriously.
Like
That's
it's
a great
time
idea.
to build 5G. I don't know if it was planned that way for a reason, but I mean, they're probably going to be getting put up fast.
For a reason.
I don't know. Well, I will say that on I was watching CNN, and Mike, they were some dude.
Yeah,
like,
you were watching CNN.
I was watching CNN, and they were talking about some dude.
Have
who
fun
actually,
with that, dude.
Hey, you might like this, Mike. Listen for 1 sec. I swear, he was actually saying that we are going to be looking into that facility in Wuhan, checking out whether or not it did originate in a wet market like they originally claimed, or whether or not it actually came from this facility that apparently they work on and do all these things with viruses. So I mean, it's definitely suspicious. Like that's like a conspiracy where I feel like that has some merit. Like we need to push for that. Like, because the thing with the conspiracies is a lot of times when you say them, people will be like, "Oh, dude, you're fucking crazy." Like, they just try to shut you down. But then if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, sometimes some truth of it is actually a little true. Like some things. Like if you just always shut up, then you never really get anywhere. So, I mean, maybe something could come out of it. I don't know.
Dude, look at history, bro. Our whole world has been a gruesome place. Why do you think that it's so like unnecessary to even think these ways about what the government could be doing right now? Like, look at our history. Look at the world. The governments have always been so screwed up, dude. Like, what makes you think that it's just not happening right now?
I need to know the plan. I need to know what the actual plan is, because it can't be all these vague. The government's doing this, the government's doing that. But why? Why are they doing this? Like, why do we all need to be in our homes right now? Like, I don't get that part. Like, I still sometimes
It's
that's
is the government setting up a master parade, like that they're just gonna have like a beautiful parade that comes down the streets that they want everyone to be inside for?
Now's our chance.
No, they just want us to be slaves.
To do what though? Like slaves for what? Like to build something or like what?
All right, they already have power, but you know what happens when you have a lot of power? Let me put it this way. When you have a lot of money, right? What do you want? What do you want after that? What do you want? You want more. You want more money because it's never enough. It's the same thing with power. Once you have power, you're like, all right, this is fun, but now I'm bored again. So now I want more power. So what do you do to get more power? You make people more enslaved and get them to be controlled by you even more. So it's only like
deep. I feel like that could take place without the coronavirus.
Well, no, I think Mikey's onto something, because think about the fact that everybody in the world now is going to be dependent on things like Amazon. Like stores and all that are all going to go out of place. Like they're taking control where, it used to be, a capitalist where there's a bunch of different corporations trying to make their way. Now it's all just being streamlined through the internet.
Exactly, bro. Thanks.
I feel
Thank
like
you.
Lewis.
I definitely think there's some merit to that, but that's more like I guess it's like okay, here we're gonna do this so that we get this, and it's like for me, some of it has to make like a little bit of sense, like just we're gonna release a pandemic so everybody becomes slaves. Like we got to be more specific. If like the internet thing, I definitely think that's more like I could see that. Like I could see what you just said, Lou. Like I could see them doing
Mike,
little.
how do you crash how do you crash like a beautiful country? You make them a welfare state and you make them dependent on the government. What are we all right now? Why do we have to get checks right now from the government? Because
I
we're
just don't
dependent
know
on.
if they want to actually crash it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting
Holy
place. I don't
yeah, that
know.
was a good one, Mike.
I mean, I feel like the federal government cares way more about advancing their power across the world than they do here. I mean, there's not really, I mean, what is it here that they really want? I feel like if you really want to dig deep, that there's way more in the CIA realm, like internationally, power grabs that they'd like to do overseas to seize power. Because even if, like, let's say, okay, now we got everybody to be slaves in the US, what about the rest of the world? What about Europe, Asia, Russia? Like, they don't stop and they're constantly on the up, and we always have to constantly be on the up, which is why they spend so
Mike,
much on military.
not that I'm gonna take Mike's side, but I just want to play it for a little bit further.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Technically,
Let's
this
just
is
play.
happening.
Let's play it, guys.
No, technically, this is happening worldwide. So, isn't every country becoming slaves, as Mike's saying? So, like, maybe if there were an elite group, they are actually controlling most of the world, not just America.
Oh, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that there could be, that could be coordinated, but I mean, they would have to be doing. I mean, we're talking about a few people. Like, if you think about, even if you just collectivize everybody that works in the federal government, they're not even 0.8% of the people that live in the U.S. Like they'd have to be doing some really drastic power moves for whatever their slavery thing is. I don't know. I mean, I could see them being like, yeah, we are gonna streamline the internet, make it more powerful, and I don't know. I guess I just struggle to see
I
that
see your
end.
side
Like I
completely.
just struggle to see like the big mustache twirling like evil plan type shit that like is coming to fruition. Like if anything, it could be like more civil liberties going down and shit like that. But I don't know if it's like like we're all of a sudden we're all in the Matrix or something like that.
I know, but I mean,
What do you think, Lou? Tell us more because you spoke once and you brought up some good points.
Well, I
Come
mean,
on.
I really think I don't think the whole point of it is like, as you say, like world domination, your typical like
Yeah.
evil mastermind. I think it's all political, it's the Republicans want to make sure that, not saying I'm one way or the other, not to make this politically
Yeah.
charged, but they want to make sure that they don't lose control of the House. So, it's kind of like keeping us indoors. I'm not saying it's all directly related, but I feel like they're taking steps to ensure that it's harder to challenge Donald Trump's presidency or any Republican's presidency in the future. It's all about establishing that, hold and taking out your opposition.
I actually think that honestly, to tell you the truth, I think that this is better for Biden. Have you seen that guy's out in public?
I haven't even heard. I heard the opposite.
What do you
That
mean he's out
not a
in
lot
public?
has been heard from either of them.
You haven't seen have you guys actually seen Biden out in public talking?
uh-huh.
You need to
No.
actually research this. Like this is crazy. There's actually becoming like serious questions about like his ability to like keep it together. Like, okay, go watch like a compilation of his debates now.
Hold on, Mike. You can't be eating. during-
He's just eating Nutella.
you could hear it in the mic.
My bad.
He's eating Nutella. Oh man. No, I just you gotta look some of this shit up, dude. I can't believe you guys haven't seen anything like that.
I mean,
Like
let's be real. He was a
Biden
walking
is really bad.
classroom.
Like I'm not even joking. Like this dude is like publicly, like just go look up a compilation. Like you have people in his own party, like something's up. I mean, they have staffers saying like this guy does really great in the morning, later on at night he gets really like look up Biden gaffes, GAFFE. Like this guy, he always like slips up, stutters, something's up. Like he starts Like there's compilations of it online. Like he's really bad out in public. I mean, you have Biden will come out. He talks for like 10, 15 minutes and then he walks away. He forgot who his wife was at one point. Like this dude is like, no, I swear to God, I swear. Look at there's like you can see all this stuff. Did you see the clip of when he got in people's face and started calling the worker like
Mike, can you just
asshole
play
or
one
something?
of these clips for
Yeah,
us?
well, let me see real quick.
That's crazy.
I mean, to be honest, we all knew the only reason they're propping him up is because of Obama. They're saying, you know, he's another Obama. People will like him, but
even Obama's not getting behind him. That's the thing that's crazy.
That's the point is because he isn't like a candidate. It's just all they think they have left. They're not, they're not playing with the full deck. The whole party.
They're desperate, man. They're desperate.
I definitely think that on YouTube they are. I mean, it's funny because I just typed in Joe Biden and the 10th thing down is Alzheimer's video. In playing one of these, keep talking. I mean, I'm just going to try to look at some of these, but I mean, I don't know. I don't want to click on something that's going to be really funky and weird.
All right, real quick, while you're looking that up, I just want to hear how is life in the quarantine going for you, Lou?
Yeah, how's that going?
I actually did want to talk about that today. I was thinking about it, and I know you guys touched on this that we're on our phones a lot. Like it's hard to find good things to do, and I was just thinking like there's got to be something that you've always told yourself like, oh man, I wish I could do this, but I just don't have time. Like there's work, there's taking care of the kids, there's all this stuff to do. I don't have the time. Now is the time to do those things. Like
seriously.
Now there's really no excuse. Like I have 2 cars I've been working on. I'm like, I have no time. And I'm like, now I got nothing but time. It's just now is the time to work on those things to when the quarantine's over, you'll have made a lot of progress.
Exactly.
I mean, that's good.
If it ever ends.
We're talking about highlights. We're talking about highlights. That's a hell of a highlight right there. I'm gonna segment that one.
I mean, segmented. Dude, I bought a belt for my snowblower. And
guys, I'll be right back. I gotta go take a piss outside real quick.
That Nutella got shit moving.
You big ass.
He's literally in his car. What'd you say, Lou?
What'd you buy, Mike? You bought something for your snowblower?
Dude, I just bought like a fucking, what do you call it? An auger belt because it went out on my snowblower. I just bought it because I'm like, you know what? I might as well fucking fix that now because I don't got anything else to do.
Now, did you order that online?
Yeah.
Like during all this crazy stuff, and was it like super delayed, or did it come like in a normal time?
It actually hasn't came yet.
Okay. Because that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon seems to have been pretty smooth, so.
I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think are some of the like major industries or companies that are thriving right now?
Well, for one, Netflix and any streaming service.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of the internet companies. I mean.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Companies that are thriving right now.
Yeah, the big ones.
I mean, especially I know I've been playing a shit ton of video games, so Xbox, PS4, all those sales are probably way up.
Dude, have you played Doom?
No, I want to so bad. I just don't have the $60.
That game is so fucking metal. Like,
did you play the first one?
Yeah, I did. And so I'm like, you know what? I got to get this next one. And it's just like this crazy feeling, just like playing this game and you're just fucking fighting through hell. And it's like, you start like getting overwhelmed and shit by demons. I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. Like, it's just, I don't know. I highly recommend it. Doom, yeah. It's called Doom Eternal, the second one. It's really good. I mean, I like it. No. All right, you guys want me to play this or no? Should we just...
Yeah, play it.
Wait, what? What are you playing?
Yeah, add another element to the show. Give it a little bit of a media vibe.
Yeah, and this Sky Australia, I mean, I don't even know what the hell this is, but it has the clips in here. So, like, the first thing, I don't know if you guys seen this, but I'll share it right now. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. We could do this. This is dope.
Check this out. Listen
I
to
got
this. I don't know if I think I have to. How does this play?
No sound.
No
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Look at her though. She looks like the girl from the Grinch.
I wonder how. I don't really know how. I wonder how they see it. I don't. This is really tough. I mean, I don't think this was gonna work.
Why? Because you have a mic plugged in?
Well, like this
Hey.
one here. Can you hear that?
No, the sound's not coming through.
This is like he just called somebody. Like I don't even know what the hell he said there. Like he's like, look at this. He's like literally pointing in this worker's face. And the dude's like, this is not okay. Like don't put your hand in my face. Like you can't do that. And then they asked him, and they like he's swearing at him. Biden is. And then they ask him outside something about it, and he said something about Donald Trump. Like, hold on. I guess it's very hard without sound. I don't think it's going to work without sound. I mean, maybe if it's a different video, but I'm not going to go searching through all these funky ass videos. But I definitely encourage you guys to check it out because, I mean, I'm not trying to shit on Biden like crazy. I mean, he's, you know.
So did you see the thing with the checkpoint today?
Yeah, that
I
was
sent
another
that to
thing.
you.
That was
Tell
another
Lou,
thing.
tell Lou about that, then.
What do you mean between states?
Yeah.
What did the articles say?
I was gonna say, so is it like you have to have a good reason, or they're gonna send you home? Like we have to
Yeah,
have a
so
doctor's note?
it has to be essential, dude, to go into the Florida Keys.
Like what if?
Insane, bro. Like, what the hell?
I say,
Who
like,
had
what
the
if?
Florida Keys?
Lou, do
Are
you
you
see
talking
where
about
this
that
is
New York
heading,
Times
or am I tripping, man? Like, does anyone see where this is going? Because soon we're gonna need a permission slip to go walk to the store and get some food and go to your friend's house.
It's so hard because like I feel like the environment we're in right now is just like Mike was saying before, it's like the third variable. Like I know there was a famous like example taught to me in psych class in college where you have shark attacks and ice cream sales both go up in the summer. So that must mean that ice cream sales lead to shark attacks. No, it's
Oh
because
no,
the
Lou.
third variable, which is people are outside in the summer, that you don't talk about. And that's what links the two. And so I think that's the problem is right now, everything, yes, the government has to take a lot of control, which is going to make it seem like all these conspiracy theories are relevant because it's just the time we're living in where the government
They're
is
doing
taking a
this,
lot
but
more control.
okay, yeah, all right, keep nodding your head, Mick. But they're doing this for literally something that has less deaths than the flu. Not even close. They're doing it. How many worldwide deaths are there right now for corona? What's the number, Mike?
I don't know. I think it wasn't worldwide like over 1 million.
I think it was like 1.3 mil.
Yeah.
1.3 mil deaths,
Yeah.
guys.
But that's also like we said, people are still dying from other things. People are still getting cancer and dying. People are still getting
Oh,
normal
they're
flu and
marking
dying.
down
Like,
every death as coronavirus. If you die from anything, you died from corona. There are families coming out literally saying to the media, they're like, no, he didn't die from that. He didn't die from corona. And they're literally filing lawsuits over it because everything is being marked down as corona right now. So
Well,
million.
I think that it's like the takedown. So like if you have whatever going on, like this happens to people all the time, like an older person who has all these different conditions, if they get even the flu. So like if you get the flu or you get something like that, then that will kill you, but you had other conditions before. So like
This
when
is
they
what
get
I was-
corona, I do get what you're saying though. It supersedes everything. It's like they died from just coronavirus, but they had a whole bunch of other shit going on too.
It brings me back to the having weed in your system, having marijuana in your system when you died on an overdose of cocaine.
Yeah.
You just happen to smoke an hour earlier, you happen to have it in your system,
No,
And
but I'm
now they're
telling
gonna
you,
say you died
they
from
don't
an
even
overdose.
know if these people had corona. There's videos of girls getting tests. They record the doctors. The doctors are literally like, yeah, it's about like 60% accurate sometimes. Sometimes
Well,
the test.
I mean, for the longest time, they didn't even have any tests. I mean, they were just telling you if you had a respiratory issue. I mean, we have paperwork here from bringing my son in. I have it. It's over here somewhere. It just says like, we have diagnosed you with COVID-19, but the state right now is not doing any tests. So they're saying like, from what we know, like you have this.
So do you think that they marked
And
in
I
the state census like that he like has it?
Well, no. So the diagnoses are actually way larger than the actual test. Those what we were looking at are test numbers, like
I
actual.
rest my case after that.
What do you mean though? Wait,
What do you
also I
mean?
don't get what does it matter? Like if you die from
Lou,
the flu or you
they're
die from
diagnosing
coronavirus, what
people.
does it matter?
One, they're diagnosing people with coronavirus who don't have coronavirus. They
But
don't have it
why is that relevant? Like it doesn't matter if they die from something else,
because
they're still dying.
no, because of the numbers.
And
The
Mike, why would
number.
they pick real
Hold
people?
on,
Like,
hold
there's
on.
no way for us to track it. Why wouldn't they just say that 10,000 more people died in Jersey and there's just no names attached to it? Like, who could
Well,
track that?
everyone who dies right now is coronavirus. But hold on, Lou, to your point. The reason it matters is because the number game is the reason why they're allowed to shut down our fundamental right from the Constitution to travel. They shut it down because of the numbers, which are not real.
Yeah,
Why do
but
you think?
airlines are still flying domestically and even to certain countries, I think.
Yeah, because they know you're on a flight. They have proof of that. If you just travel, they don't know if you're in a car.
Oh, well, I mean, for us, it's a different situation. I think it depends on where you live because, like, we live on the Wisconsin border and millions of people commute every single day, and there's no such thing as these checkpoints here. But,
Yet.
yeah.
Yet.
And mind you, you guys, I mean, the other thing is that you have to think about is remember when I used to send you guys election results and your local elections, and they took away this regarding gun rights and stuff? They've been doing this slow creep to you guys for a long time. So,
Yeah, they've
I
been
mean,
planning
those
this for
checkpoints,
years.
like DUI checkpoints and stuff that they'll transform into COVID-19 checkpoints, those don't even exist in, I mean, over 30 states. So, I mean, they exist in New Jersey partly because power was already given to them. They didn't really have to grab power. It's already there.
Yeah, because those are the states they're testing it out because they know it not as many people here have guns. So that's where they're gonna test it out first because they know we'll take more. If this was gonna happen in places like Texas and places with a bunch of guns, it'd be a different reaction because half of those people have guns ready to literally create a militia and fight back.
Who is fighting back? Who is
Yeah.
fighting back?
And
This
why?
is a-
I think you guys doubt the actual patriots of how many there are in this country because
No,
they're
but
not
I'm
going to
saying
stand for this.
I think a lot of those patriots are actually military servicemen, which are supposed to be the people who supposedly are going to be enforcing these checkpoints. And
No, but not
when you start
majority of.
asking like these service people to do things where they're quarantining their families and doing things that just don't really have any merit or reason, I don't know. I don't see it.
See, but that's also like you mean look at the Holocaust. Like those soldiers didn't want to kill. Like obviously it's an extreme example, but like those
It's no, but
guards
it's
didn't want
not.
to
It's
kill
not
people.
extreme. It's not
It's
extreme. It's actually true if you look at what happened there.
What do you mean?
like those people didn't want to kill the Jews, but they were ordered to, and they did it. It would be like the same thing here. It's like people don't want to do things, but you have that
Exactly,
fear of
Lou.
authority.
No,
And
I
I brought that
agree
up
with
before. It's called you are selfish to your family. You want to protect your family first. So it's not going to matter at that point.
I definitely can see the flip side of how, I mean, we see it all the time. I mean,
By the
you can
way,
see it in the
guys,
local community. Was B coming on?
B's coming in here.
Wait, Ben,
Hey,
We need another angle. We need another twist.
do not screw the call, man. It's going good. Please don't end it.
No, he's gonna come in here. But what I will say is, when there's gonna be 5 of us, let's just make sure that when somebody's speaking, we silence so that we're not all cutting over each other.
Yeah, it gets tricky. with more than a couple cats. Is he coming right now?
Yeah, I'm adding him in.
I don't know if you've seen my snaps lately, but I'm starting to get pissed.
You guys remember like 9/11, for instance? Like, I
Yeah.
still don't really know what substantial master plan they actually did aside from invade another country. Like, I mean, you can say the Patriot Act, but even then is like
Mass
it's
surveillance.
like it's I mean it is, but it's just like it doesn't feel like the evilness intent that sometimes is conveyed in the videos, you know. And I don't know, maybe I'm just kind of a skeptic on this, but
Mass
it's just like,
surveillance, Mike. Mass surveillance. Everyone's a terrorist.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
happened.
kinda. I mean, I don't really know anybody that's gone down for terrorism, but yeah.
No, I'm saying they claim everyone's a terrorist so they can watch everyone. Dude, there's literally people who say, like, on Twitter, like, they say Twitter's literally recording you at all times because there's people that this happened to where they're like, yeah, COVID-19 is just a flu, and they literally get a message from Twitter, and it literally says, COVID-19 is not the flu.
I believe that. I believe that though. I believe in all kinds of forms of censorship like that. Like, there's no doubt.
That's just weird, bro.
But then Twitter is, I mean, even Twitter, that's a private company. Like, they're choosing to do that.
I will
Unless-
say that TikTok does the same thing. If I'm in my car and I go onto TikTok, it'll basically, my whole screen in my car will say on call. As in, it's like basically listening.
Wait, is B in the call?
No, he keeps
I see it.
ignoring it.
I told you guys I was scared of TikTok way back. Remember when I told you about the Chinese thing?
Yeah, they are the Chinese.
Well, yeah, we know this, but I'm saying like they were actually a little freaked out about TikTok and what it was actually doing. I don't even remember anything, any follow up to that, but I blame Epstein. So
We got another car in this parking lot. They must be starting to track down the keywords I've been saying.
maybe that's B. He's joining right now.
He's pulling for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's just B.
He's acting up. He doesn't know his username.
Oh my god, get a grip, B.
I had to change all my shit real quick before you called because I haven't changed it since like 2008.
Seriously, when's the last time anybody's been on Skype? Like,
Yeah,
I
that was
didn't
our
even know it was
first
still a thing.
conversation. That was our first conversation.
I know everybody I've been talking to has been using like Google Hangout and shit.
Freaking Zoom, mostly Zoom too.
I hate Zoom.
What's wrong with Zoom?
Because I'm on it all day, man. Work. It's just
Ah,
fuck. No, I can't be complaining. I've actually been like doing no more complaints whatsoever about my current situation. I mean, if you really think about it, how many people got it way worse? Like, there's so many people where it just fucking. I mean, it's like I should be thankful enough that I'm at home working. So many people that don't even have that opportunity. Could you imagine if you commute in the subway in New York? Like,
Dude, that's hell, bro.
Imagine doing that every day to go to your employer, like, and that's your only form of transportation because you never had a car. That would suck.
Well, there's also a new innovation out that I don't understand why they're not using, but it's like this UV like light that basically if you shine it, if you were to keep it on the subways like on top and you just kept it shining down, then it literally clears all germs out and it does not affect the human body either. Those people are going to get rich. That's the thing.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and you can put it in
I actually have seen that.
hospitals and all types of places.
I've seen that on TikTok.
I will say, going back to what Lou was saying earlier about like controlling different parts of government and stuff, like that's one thing that's kind of getting a little irritating that I'm starting to notice on the media. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but it's like it's kind of starting to like at first it was like freak out. We talk about coronavirus. This is very serious. Like that's all we're talking about. And now it's kind of like shifting towards like who did what and how fast were they, how good were they, and was this politician good, was that politician bad, was Trump doing a good job, and I'm just like, can we just wait a couple weeks for this? Like, I know that we're in an election year, but Jesus Christ, like this, I just hate I hate how everything always has to be a political twist. Like sometimes it's just tough.
I know what you mean. Have any of you guys heard of the Epic Times?
No.
They've been advertising to me hard on basically all outlets. It's called Epic Times, EPOCH.
Epoch?
And basically, I don't know, they claim to be whatever, unbiased, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, they say that Reuters is supposed to be like one of the standards for unbiased news, and I don't know, every time I read it, like I can sense just a little bit of zing in there sometimes. I don't know, it's hard to explain.
That definitely feels a bit left-wing.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's just like when you read, like for instance, when you see like a bombshell title and then you read it and it's not that bombshell of an article, it's like, okay, I guess. It's like, what do you got? What's going on here? They're trying to do something.
Yeah.
I would like to just do a reset and be like, okay, everybody after March, whatever you did, like that's fucked up, because I feel like in March is when we all started to kind of know, like, about the coronavirus. Like I feel like March is when it got kind of vamped up. But when people are talking about what people were doing in January, I'm just like, dude, come on. Like, yeah, I don't think there was a fucking soul that thought that this could happen. Like, I seen a clip of that fucking the dude. Like I said, I think we talked about this last week. I seen a clip of that dude, the Dr. Fauci or whatever. He was in January saying there's no immediate threat, like not to worry. It's like,
yeah, and he's literally
he's like the top cat.
Yeah, he's working with Bill Gates. He's Trump's enemy in the low. Mark my words. Everything I say in this podcast, only history will show. I mean, only the future, not history.
What's up with the Bill thing? We really gonna go back to that?
I mean, Bill patented the whole coronavirus, so you could start there.
I mean, coronavirus is a parent virus, so they've known of the coronavirus for decades. So I mean, it's possible he may have, because he owns those he owns a lot of those facilities that study them.
Yeah. I'm sure.
A lot of viruses they study, dude. I mean,
I'm sure he's just studying away. Yeah, guys, we gotta study this a little more.
Oh man.
What's up with you, Vid? Because you're doing a big pause on this.
Yeah, I feel like we're waiting.
You got us in stasis here. It's tough.
Oh.
Yeah, where's Venus?
No, I think B's done for the night.
Ouch.
He doesn't know his username.
How about you create an account, you freak?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's acting like he doesn't know how to do it.
What the hell do you mean?
But I did want to say, things have really, I guess, escalated a little bit from last week, and it's interesting to see how different places are starting to implement these COVID laws and changes. Like Wegmans by me, I went to just get some dinner the other night, and there's these massive tents set up out front with, it's basically like I thought it was a checkpoint. It basically says enter here and exit only. And there's like a bunch of security guards in these like bright colored vests with like walkie-talkies and stuff. And there's just a line that wraps around the wall. None of this was here last week, but it all got implemented, I guess, in the past couple days. And it's just kind of, it's different to see, because it seems like it's escalated, and I don't know. I was just trying to grab a quick thing, and I was like, I basically had to wait for 30 minutes just to get inside.
I feel like by where me and Lou are, everything kind of seems normal. Like,
Yeah, like I feel like I drive out during the day and there's still a lot of people going places and it really doesn't feel like people are still taking it seriously. Like
Yeah.
it's wild.
Yeah.
I do know what you mean by the volume on the roads. It's definitely busy. But
Yeah.
like you look, it's like the roads are busy, but then if you look to the left and right, like the retail shopping centers are the parking lots are completely empty.
I mean, I guess yeah, there's so many people though, like who are considered essential workers or just people doing their business. Like, I mean, like we're gonna be moving like with a fucking moving truck and stuff in a couple weeks here. It's just like life has to go on, like part of it. I mean, I don't know. I feel like a fucking dude, like I'm in jail. I feel like I hardly been leaving the house. It's kind of bugging me out.
You are basically.
I mean, that's the other thing that I was thinking of today is like just because you can't go out and go to stores and stuff doesn't mean you still can't go out and do things like shit, even just to drive around for like an hour. Like as long as you're not going out and socializing, you're not going to get in trouble for driving.
Seriously. And gas is so cheap.
Oh, exactly.
What is it?
Yeah,
$22. It was $1.95.
Nice, dude. Yeah,
That's
it's
something
real
we all
cheap.
have to really comment on it. Let me just say the date real quick. It's April 6th, and I saw gas for $1.93 today.
I saw 178.
It's like $25 to fill my tank.
178 is insane.
Yeah.
Geez, you might get down to the 150s.
I mean,
I'm
it's
pretty
crazy.
sure in the South it's even cheaper.
I don't know if you guys are into the Vin. You still on Robinhood?
Yeah.
Now,
What the hell is
Because
Robinhood?
oil is like low, and
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
if
Stocks.
you're kind
probably
of
a good time to buy.
if you're a betting man, oil I think is the lowest it's been. I don't know. I mean, I think it might be the lowest, like for what it should be in the current times. Like it's the lowest ever, and I actually have a couple buddies that have really put in on it. So I don't know. See what happens.
That's something you can guarantee on bouncing back.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a number of different things that people are investing in. I mean, first, which is if you have a chunk of change right now and you're like sitting pretty well, there's a lot that you could be doing. There's a lot of different things you could be investing in.
I was thinking about that.
You gonna invest, Lou?
Yeah, I was just, to take whatever I get from my new paychecks and just keep throwing that into Robinhood. This is, like you said, it's the best time. Everything's going up from
It
here.
really is a good time.
I think I'm putting all the Yang Gang money in the stock.
Yo, I just read an article about a lot of people aren't getting the Yang Gang money.
I'm getting it now.
Yeah, I don't think I am, Lou.
A shit ton of people aren't.
That's crazy.
You owe child support, done.
They even said every single college student, like, there's a lot of those kids are living on their own and none of them are getting it. If somebody claims you, you're done.
What do you mean?
If they claim you as a dependent, then they take that cash because you can take $500 a person. So like a lot of people who actually like do support their kids and they've been dependents in the past, the government's just going to default to what was done in the past. And then they just give the money to them. So like your parents, if your parents claimed you right now, or they claimed you in 2019 last year, then they're going to get an extra $500, but you won't.
Yeah, but if you filed right now as a non-dependent, you would get it, right?
It goes by last year.
Yeah, so you might be screwed too, Mike.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Nah, there's no shot, dude.
I don't know. You may
it goes to the previous year, and even if you did, like, let's say.
Wait, so are you saying they're gonna get my money also, or?
Well, the worst part is that they won't, like, no one will get $1,200, and your mom will only get $500 for you, and you won't get nothing.
What are you talking about, Mike?
Because you're a dependent technically.
Yeah.
The only people who are really getting the money are people who have like families and have been paying a lot of money in taxes.
I don't think that's true. I know kids who live with their parents who are getting it. So.
Hey, well, it is some kids, but I don't know. I remember I read something about kids like 17
Mike, I don't
to
think it's
20
true,
something.
Mike.
It is
Mike,
true.
Are you going to be getting it?
I should be getting about, well, let's see, Nicole and I, that's $2,400. and then an additional 1,000, so 3,400.
Oh, I think it's for college kids.
Yeah,
who
Mike is basically on the boardwalk in Monopoly. He's making that dough.
for college kids who didn't work a
Boardwalk.
job.
Well, no, Mike. So this over here is saying parents will get an extra $500 payment per child, but only for kids under 17. So if you're 17 or older, you don't count.
No, but if you I literally lived in California and worked a job though, on my own while living on my own. So.
Lou, can you share your screen? Or
True. That is true.
I would, but I'm on my computer. I'm using my laptop right now. I could actually send this link.
And also the taxes I'm filing were for 2019, but I'm following them now. But
yeah, so if
then
if
they'd probably
people
go
haven't-
off the previous year. They're just going off of what they have on record. You know what's
Question,
another thing
Mike.
what's that?
if we haven't filed 2019 yet, does that mean that they're looking at 2018?
Yes. Well, let me
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a while ago. They only
I
have
don't know.
2018 records because most people haven't finished their taxes yet for 2019.
You
I
guys
got
see
this. I got this from NBC News. Was the one I used.
Do you guys see this just straight off of Google?
Oh yeah.
Individual taxpayers $1,200.
exactly.
You have to be making less than $75,000 per person. Geez, I'm right there. I'm basically at 7,499. 500 payment.
Thanks for disclosing your income.
Yeah. I was.
But I am an independent taxpayer that is filing my taxes of 2019.
Let's see CBS News. How much money will you get?
Lou, do you count? Are you getting it?
To be honest, I don't know. I've been working for a couple years, but not really consistent. So I don't know if that matters.
Let's see.
I actually know I just got my tax refund. I got $800, so that was pretty sweet.
Damn, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know about Mike. You got to look into that. I don't know. It doesn't say anything about whether or not you've been claimed or something. I know that there were a lot of like weird variables that Lou was bringing up. Like for instance, I do know that people who it was mentioned that people who owe and people who owe, what do you call it? Like taxes, then was it child support and this or that, they wouldn't get it. So I don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Well, damn. That was definitely one of the weaker, like, well, not weaker. I don't want to get too critical here. We had some good stats.
Ben, why don't you introduce your theory you said you were going to introduce?
I didn't want to get too deep here tonight.
Let's hear it, then. I want to hear it.
It's a quick dive.
We got time.
All right, let me pull it up here. Give me 1 sec.
While he's doing that, you know what I just realized? I don't think
What?
we said it. Are you going to patch those two together, or are you going to just leave it be?
I think I'm just going to leave it be.
I think we just start with Lou on then.
Yeah.
Lou, I got this book. You may have seen it on my Snapchat.
I might.
Did you see that I posted about the book or whatever?
Which book?
It was just today. But this book,
No, I didn't see it then.
so this dude, Dan Carlin, right? Hardcore History. If you've never listened to that podcast, go listen to it. If you like history, like this dude is boss, right? First book he ever writes, I'm like, I got to get this book. I got to support him. I will say he's not that good. Like he's not as good of a writer as he is the spoken word, but still really good shit. This freaked me out because I got this at Christmas, chapter 6. A pandemic prologue.
Oh no.
And it's just like it's basically what we're going through. Like it's like, dude, this guy was fucking Nostradamus in a way. I mean, a majority of what he does is he references the past and he kind of asks the question like, what would happen if this very real and very possible thing that's affected so many civilizations happened to us? Like, how would it, like, what would change? And he was kind of talking about what we were talking about earlier, like just the simple fact that like we will change, like societies will change, governments will change, power structures change, kind of just like what we were mentioning. And I was giving an example earlier, just how like he was, just talking about like previous plagues and them just not having any understanding about disease. Like they literally have no understanding about anything about viruses. They didn't even know that they existed up until the 20th century. And it's kind of sad. Like, it's like, thank God, like we could be in a way worse place,
Absolutely. This is literally, if you think about it, just like if you went back to, what was it, 1348 with the Black Plague, like everything's going good and one day people are dying left and right out of nowhere.
Yeah. I mean, you can go back and look at, they have entire villages, like we would call them civilizations, just wiped out by that plague in Europe, And I was telling them earlier, it's basically like some dude shows up in a ship from Asia and he's like, 75% of the crew's dead. And he's like, hey, something's wrong. Like these guys got sick. We got to carry these guys off. Carry them off? Oh, hell no. Now the virus is in Europe,
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Let's hear it, Ben.
What do you got?
He said
I really need to research it more before I explain too much.
He told me that this whole thing actually has to do with the cosmos.
I did.
Oh, God.
There's a theory going around, and I'm somewhat on board, but basically it's that a portal has just opened, and we are entering a new age.
I'm
so basically,
listening.
There's a lot of alignment going on within the universe, and there's a certain way that the planets are orienting themselves and energy is shifting to the point where we're moving on from like the realm of money and power and we're moving on into the next age of life. This happens apparently every 2100 years or so. There's a shift in the way that people perceive and consciousness and all of that. We're shifting from a age of money, power, and control, and we're kind of entering this new dimension of like sort of like enlightenment of the human spirit and consciousness. And like we're going to move away from materialism and kind of, and this could be the shift that we're seeing with people staying home, but it's going to be a shift inward and more of like, I don't know. I have to look into it more, but it's pretty
Well,
deep.
the way I can see that working out is if there is a plan to do the total opposite, which would be total power and everything. But if we win, if the good wins, then that would be the age that we shift into.
So there's usually a downfall before there's some sort of revolution, and then there's a change in the way of thinking.
Exactly.
I think that's where we're about to enter.
I fucking hope so. I like that theory.
I mean, if you think about it recently, I feel like the tensions of the wage gap, I mean, just like in society between like the rich top, 1% and the rest of us, like there's been a lot of issues coming up recently. So it does feel like the perfect powder keg, so to speak.
It also feels like we've just been so fucking fast paced. Like when you think about it, like we're all like people like Nicole and I were talking about this. Like we're just so not used to go. Like, or no, we're so used to that. Like we're always doing that, like endlessly, just living that super fast paced life that like we all went to a grinding halt. And it was almost like it was fucking end of the world. Like, is it really that big of a deal to just put a pause on for like 2 weeks? Like, why is that such a big fucking deal? Why does that destroy the entire economy?
Well, it's not a big deal if you know.
We really can't take a 2-week break. Like,
no, it's only not a big deal if you know it's only going to be 2 weeks, but no one knows that.
Even if it's 2 months, like, how is it that we can't? I'm just saying.
You're pushing it there.
It's
yeah, 2 months, man. 4 months. You know what? Make it a year. Make it a year.
I mean,
Just saying, it feels like we were really obsessed. We were possessed with just progress. Like, why were student loans that much money? Why was it allowed? Like, why is it allowed to just have these ridiculously expensive textbooks and everybody, no one challenges it? It's just like, yeah, like we're just
And
doing.
I think what you're saying is because everybody's so fast paced and we're moving at this rapid rate where you're so focused on the next thing, it's like you're signing all these contracts, like signing up for all these subscriptions. You're not really aware of the control that you're giving up. And it's like when everything stops, it kind of gives you time to be like, well, why were they doing all that?
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it just last week. We're just like questioning certain things that we do in Western culture. It's like there was a thing. I swear I was with you guys. Maybe not because it's a Jimmy John's, but I was with someone and we were reading this thing on the wall and we're like, damn, this thing's pretty deep. And it was basically this dude was in Mexico, like this dude from like an American was in Mexico and he's just like it's like a parable. He was telling the dude was like, why don't you just stay here and fish with me and relax and blah blah blah. And he's like, well, I gotta go home, I gotta work, I gotta do this. And he kept saying, why? And the dude's like, I gotta go home, I got a house, I gotta do all this, I gotta save up to retire. And he's like, so that I can fish on the boat like you and relax. And he's like, well, I'm doing it right now. It's like, there's a
That's
lot of
pretty
shit.
deep.
Yeah, we don't have to like constantly be on the go so much. Like I've spent a lot of time with my kids. I know a lot of people are talking trash about like it's tough being with your kids and shit. And it sucks. Like in some ways it's very challenging. But in other ways, I'm like, I mean, it's kind of sad when you say it. It's like you feel like you see your kids for like 2, 3 hours a day. Like you pick them up at 5 p.m. and they go to sleep at 7:30. And it's like that's normal in Western culture. But is it really normal? Like, is that normal
no,
for
it's
humans to do
definitely not.
that? Like, it starts making you think, like, is that normal?
Well, these are
And-
called shroom thoughts.
No, yeah, I mean,
but
Well,
but really, is it? I don't know. I think things like thoughts that would be out there like that aren't really so out there anymore.
No, yeah, that's why when you take like a psychedelic, you're gonna start thinking about this stuff.
but
Cause
even
I,
Mike,
it's
as a normal mind right now, he's literally living that. It's like you're going through the day to day where you're seeing your kids like all day, and you're like, in a way, you have to appreciate that because like on the normal day, you would see them for 2.5 hours, like you're saying, but like to be able to watch them grow for these months, like you're home to like almost witness that.
I mean,
yeah,
back when we were tribes, you were always with them, 24/7.
Like maybe you'll look at the way when like if you do go back to work, maybe you'll look at it a little bit differently. Like
I
I
think
don't
we
know.
got I think we got really obsessed with just with progress and everything. I think America became addicted to success because even if you look at history, this isn't that long ago where every mom was at home. Like it's not that long ago, like where you had a parent that was always at home and then the other parent worked and maybe there were imperfections with that structure of the man working and the mom always taking care of the kids, but at least there was more family time. There wasn't, people weren't working a full-time job, a part-time job like this. We're talking about like just not that long ago. And you know just even looking at us on a world stage, it's like the US was really hesitant to do anything during those world wars, and after it we became obsessed with it. We're in every fucking war, everything. Like we're
Yeah.
everywhere, all over the place. And before that, we were kind of like, I don't know about that. So I don't know. I mean, it's like kind of like that book. I mean, I definitely think that there's going to be a change. It's not just a change of like fucking Wendy's closing. I think there's going to be some shit going on.
Wendy's closing is just it's just the beginning of the realization.
And I hope that it sways in your way, dude, or the way that you're talking, because I'd be totally down with that. A little bit more inner reflection and just
I think it's going to really open people's eyes as to the dependency, the sort of system that they were living in, and it's just going to awaken people in a new way.
I mean, it shows how easily that all unfolds and collapse and anything.
would that be our downfall? There's some people that argue that, though. There's some people that will say, well, yeah, maybe that will be the new stage for the US, but what will the Russians do? What will the Chinese do? Will they stop? Will they stop
Uh,
working? Will
Yeah,
they
that's the
stop
thing.
building? Will they cease military production? That's where it gets scary. It's
No,
like
they won't.
they won't stop.
Well, neither. I don't think we will either. That's the thing. You can't because it's too risky. But
That's
People like
basically where you find out the motive behind that push, behind that drive. It's the arms race.
Yeah, it's kind of sad how it feels like we're all scrambling to keep the trigger on each other, and like that's the only
Yeah.
reason things have been so good recently is because we all had equal guns pointed at each other. But now it's a time to build those gaps.
it's kind of
Yeah.
scary.
But yeah, then it's like, well, who can recover from this situation quickest so that they can gain the leverage fastest?
And I don't know. This shit gets complicated. I mean,
But Mike's right. You couldn't. I don't think you can get the Russians and the Chinese to think like this. This is a Western type of awakening, I would say. That
yeah, the
No,
awakening
but the
could be
thing
happening
is, Mike,
here.
the East really already has it. They've awoken.
now
It
maybe,
depends on what you mean by the East.
and it
Really
depends
depends.
which
Yeah, it's very
depends
vague.
which
It
areas.
East is
I'm
very
talking
vague.
like India. They've been doing it.
Yeah, I think we all thought it. We all thought of India at that moment.
Yeah.
India is awoke. They're woke, but they're not really involved in war too much. I feel like.
I mean, 2 years ago, India almost popped off on Pakistan, but that's another story. But look it up. Seriously, it was actually pretty interesting. I was following it pretty closely. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who have talked about like in the past, like, what will happen when we discover AI and start like it becomes like an actual thing. And the question that a lot of people are always asking isn't the case of like what will we do when we get AI? It's what will the Russians do with AI? What will the Chinese do? What happens when someone discovers something that the other hasn't? And how do we deal with that? And how do we compete? And what does the playing field look like? And unfortunately, it's like, I think the one major threat to your theory, Vin, is just the fact that we're always clawing to be at the top. And whoever's at the top, it's like, it's kind of scary as to who's at the top. I don't know.
I think it's how far we cling to the human nature, because the spiritual realm, it's completely the opposite. It's all about that love and connection, but then you have this human behavior that's very like evil oriented and like just trying to competitiveness and all of that. So like,
Well, that's the veal.
who knows? I don't know. The time will tell.
You got to do some research on that theory a little
Mike,
bit.
I did watch
I'll follow up next week.
Sam Harris's mushroom trip. It's a very interesting video. You guys should check out. To all my viewers out there.
Did you actually watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched it. He
That was
does.
fun.
He does literally mushrooms and he blindfolds himself.
Like he went out east, like what Vin's saying, and I think he did every single kind of drug that, like,
Yeah, you definitely
every
gotta
single
prepare for that.
psychedelic. Yeah, and experimented because I mean he's a freaking neurosurgeon and he's advocating for stuff like that, and it's pretty wild when you have him just talk about the whole whatever. I don't know. You should watch that, Vin. You didn't watch that?
You
I
both
watched
should.
a little bit of it. I should watch the rest.
Yeah, if you got time.
It's an interesting cat.
Well, what's the plan?
Well, I guess we should wrap this up. I think we're a little over schedule, but that's fine, obviously.
Yeah.
Well,
They say that
guess-
this week is supposed to be the worst week, though. One of the worst weeks is what everyone keeps saying. So
I mean, this whole week was basically supposed to be that too. So we're basically in the middle of it right now.
yeah.
I guess I'm going to open it up for Lou. I just want to hear your final thoughts. We want to thank you for being on the 23rd hour this week.
Yeah, thanks for
Give
coming
us your final
on. Lou.
remarks and your overall thoughts about the talk today.
For first remark, I definitely like the name, the 23rd hour. That's it's a better direction from the last one. I will admit the last one was a bit comical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think this episode had a lot of good new takes. It's really, there's so much uncertainty. We don't know where we're gonna be next week. We could, you guys could be having very different conversation. It's really just we're in the middle of it. and it's time to see where humanity goes.
Yeah. What do you want me to call you, Lou? By the way, when I say as the guest, do you just want Lou or your full name?
Yeah, I could put Lou. Lou is fine.
Lord
Alright.
Anus.
Yeah, Lord.
Input from Lord Anus.
I might actually do that.
That might actually get us more views.
You don't care if I do that, right?
Go ahead, man. Green light.
Alright.
Remember we seen when was the last time we seen you? Remember we were driving from somewhere? Where the hell were we going? Who was with
I-
me?
Oh, that was the
only
5K,
see
Mike.
you guys when we drive. Like it's so weird.
That was the 5K. We were on our way back.
Oh, okay.
It was
I
the
was like,
5K.
It was Thanksgiving.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember there was years ago back when I still had my red car? I randomly saw you
Yeah,
guys on Route 1.
yeah, I remember that too.
Oh my god.
That was great.
All right. Well, I'm about to sign off.
Alright.
I guess we'll just chit chat next week. See what's
All
up.
right. Thank you all for coming into the 23rd hour, and we'll see
Thanks
you
for
later.
having me. Peace.